All right, coming up, we're going to talk more about the president's tweets. But for now, Liz, let's get to our guest, please. All right, Annie Frey from the Annie Frey Show has joined me in the studio. Annie, this circus in D.C., I mean, today everybody turned out and was glued to their TV for these intelligence chiefs who showed up, and they all said, nobody's tried to influence me. So, again, no story, but it's what's tied up news coverage today.
Do you think if there was a smoking gun somewhere, do you think that everybody wouldn't know about it already? The second that a smoking gun would surface in any of these, scandals or perceived scandals, the second that there is a smoking gun, it's the only thing that anyone's going to talk about. So now all we can talk about is, allegations and perceptions. And,
sure.
But this is a value to people who want to counter the administration. So the longer that they can draw this out, the more they can grandstand and the more they can put up countdowns until the sky falls. When the sky doesn't fall, they still have all of this drumming up of nonsense potentially. There is something to be said about what Donald Trump is doing right now with the media in this country. He's making them, in a way, report on the administration the way we kind of wish they would always report. It's unfair when it's so one-sided. But just think for a second if Barack Obama would have had to face this kind of scrutiny. And think about all of the things, when it comes to stuff like Benghazi or some of the other things, especially the racial issues that where the president did use his office as an opportunity to put, to persuade the legal process and the focus of where we wanted to put attention in specific cases that we've faced over the last few years. Just think for a second if the media would have been as focused on the Obama administration as they are on the Trump administration. I would actually rather have it be this way, where it's scrutiny all the time for everybody, because then maybe there wouldn't be so much backroom politicking.
Right.
But it's all a game. It's all for show.
If they had put half this much focus on his college records and finding out where he really went to college and graduated from, that might have been
college records.
Interesting. They didn't even that soft peddling of Obama started long before the election.
No, they couldn't wait for him. He was the culmination of what they had been hoping for, and he coasted through it. The college records kind of fall into the same category, I would think, as tax returns, where there's a part of a history of a candidate that you want to know about and you want to dig into and delve deeper into. One is advantageous and one isn't, and that's how we get our information.
Look at the headline under Shep Smith up here. Intelligence chiefs decline to discuss contact with Donald Trump. Liz, would you play cut number 1 for me, please?
In the 3+ years that I have been the director of the National Security Agency, to the best of my recollection, I have never been directed to do anything I believe to be illegal, immoral, unethical, or inappropriate. And to the best of my recollection, during that same period of service, I do not recall ever feeling pressured to do so.
That's Admiral Mike Rogers, right? Testifying there. Now, that sounds to me like he's being pretty forthright about his interactions with Trump, despite what the headlines would tell you right now. Marco Rubio asked some pretty pointing questions as well. Listen. Whoops. We potted up?
Yep.
That is operator error. Here we go. Try it again.
At the time, let me ask both of you, has anyone ever asked you, now or in the past, this administration or any administration, to issue a statement that you knew to be false?
For me, I stand by my previous statement. I've never been directed to do anything in the course of my 3+ years as the director of the National Security
Not directed,
Agency
asked.
that I felt to be inappropriate, nor have I felt pressured to do so.
Have you ever been asked to say something that isn't true?
I stand by my previous statement, sir.
Director Coates?
I do likewise.
I thought they were pretty forthright, but the headlines would lead you to believe that the intel chiefs didn't want to, like, held back or something. Just because one of them said, you're asking me a question that relates to an investigation, and even if I was going to discuss it, I wouldn't do it in an open hearing. It would be in a secure setting. Mm-hmm. And that's kind of what they've hung their hat on, to suggest that they were being less than truthful, or they wouldn't talk about their contacts with Trump.
I think when we were going through the 2016 election and we were talking about the swamp. I think the swamp is not confined only to politicians. I think it includes a lot of media influence and the showmanship that is going on here, and in some cases grandstanding that is going on. Think about all of, this is important stuff. We need to get to the bottom of it. That's something that Comey said in his prepared remarks is to Donald Trump. Donald Trump says he wants the cloud to be lifted, and Comey says, think about how valuable it will be when we go through this process and we do diligence to find out that there is nothing here. There's something valuable to that, but it goes into the entertainment industry, the news entertainment industry, and then we kind of start to divert from the actual process that benefits the American people and all of the congressmen right now that are tied up doing this instead of the work of the people, which would be the reasons they're there: tax reform, repealing Obamacare.
Did you hear about the Transform Your Summer Sweepstakes?
Sorry. You know what I hate? I hate
computers.
Even you don't even. It's not even about going to like the CNN headline. I went to one on the Hill newspaper, and the minute the thing popped up, it starts playing some video that had nothing to do with it. But what I sorry to interrupt what you were saying.
Some people put diapers on their babies' bottoms with those ads.
That's right.
Just saying.
This is true. I don't want to hack off the IT people out there, but I wanted to get to Eric Trump, which is the reason I pulled this thing up before we run out of time here. Did you hear what he said today? The left is all over him.
Yes,
all over him.
About like disvaluing them as people.
Yeah, I mistakenly credited this to Don Trump Jr. earlier, but it was Eric who apparently was on the air and said something that the Democrats are going to try to. They're going to try to make it equal to the deplorable statement by Hillary Clinton. And I'm going to play the bite here, and you'll hear it immediately.
I've never seen hatred like this. I mean, to me, they're not even people. It's so sad. I mean, morality's just gone. Morals have flown out the window. We deserve so much better than this as a country. Right. And, it's so sad. You see the Democratic Party. They're imploding. They have no message. You see the head of the DNC, who is a total whack job. There's no leadership there.
They're not even people. That's the headline.
Well,
if you disagree with Donald Trump, you're not even a people. Dems are not even people, it says on the Hill.
If you want to talk about which party right now is valuing life as a whole, and you've got Kathy Griffin speaking for the whack job left.
Yeah, thank you.
Holding the head of a decapitated, most powerful man in the entire world, and that's free speech. Everybody who's defending her, with the people like Jerry Seinfeld who have come out and defended her, want to talk about free speech and the importance of the right for her to do so. And he says these 4 or 5 words, and now they want to make it a statement about how awful Republicans are. It's a very, very far distance to travel for me to even be up in arms about that statement.
I would not up in arms about it. I thought it was kind of funny, and I always think it's interesting. They ask him specifically, you must be glad you're not in Washington right now in the middle of all this, because he's still off running the family business, right? And he's just angry. You can tell that he's just angered by it. He's angered by probably a combination of the Kathy Griffin stuff and this Perez guy who's head of the DNC, who can't go to a speech without dropping F-bombs with children in the background because he's one of the angry members of the left who still can't believe they lost. He's right. They don't have a message, and they're in trouble. The Republicans have out-fundraised them significantly. And that's got to be concerning to these Democrats. Apparently, Laura Trump, Eric's wife, she's still in campaign mode full time, traveling the country, giving speeches, raising money for Trump 2020. Did you know that?
No, I didn't.
Yeah, that's what she's doing.
Well, they have a plan, and they have fully invested in what they are doing here. It's a bit unconventional from what we're used to seeing and how we're used to covering politics as usual in Washington, D.C. This certainly isn't as usual. But I think the Democrats are upset, they're angry, they're frustrated, and I think that's because they refuse to accept the reality of what they've become in this country. In 2010, when Republicans were angry, they formed the Tea Party that had a specific message. That was the angry right. And the left is flailing. They think Kathy Griffin is a messenger for them.
Well,
It's flailing.
they're angry and they're going to resist. But what are they doing to resist? I mean, they're laying down in the street and they're flopping all over the place and they're breaking windows and burning things and police in these liberal cities won't arrest them for it. College presidents bend over backwards to accommodate them at this evergreen college. You know, if you start a letter to somebody with "My name is Joe Smith," I can be referred to as him, his, or something. Was that
Something
it?
else.
You should refer to me as him, his.
You have to identify your
or
pronouns.
identify as yeah. I stopped reading right there. I mean, it was just unbelievable what the left in this country has devolved into.
They're the best campaign right now for Republicans retaining office that we could even come up with.
You may not be happy with us, but look at them. That's a great campaign slogan, don't you think?
One of the reasons Donald Trump won.
Yeah, that's true.
It is.
Very true, because of Hillary Clinton. Annie, thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
Hey, stick around for the Annie Fry Show every Saturday at 5 to 7 right here on FM News Talk 97.1. All right, quick break. Get to some phone calls, 314-969-9797, and we're going to talk to Boyd Matheson, who's been delving into the tweeting issue. It came up again yesterday with several senators asking the president to back off of Twitter a little bit. We'll get his thoughts on that right after this.